So this one time I was sitting in my high school English class, and my friend who sat behind me was suddenly like, "Laura, look at this." I turned around, and she had a video of Super Junior playing on her phone. And I didn't really notice the song, or maybe the sound was off, but I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. Their movements are so synchronized. I wish more groups would dance like this. And she was like, welcome to K-pop, almost all of the idol groups do. By the way, I am paraphrasing, LOL. Anyway, I kind of forgot about it until a few years later, I guess it was around 2014, when I stumbled across Martina, now called King Kogi, and started watching her videos and getting very interested in her experience as a Canadian living long-term in Korea. This came natural to me because multiculturalism/international understanding is one of my things that I try to think about and learn about often. So from her and her then husband, I found out more about K-pop. I didn't stand any groups the way I do now, but I remember being intensely impressed by Wonder Girls and FX, as well as ravenously consuming any and all dance practice, dance cover, random play dance, and relay dance videos. If you can't tell, I really like watching people dance. In particular, I became obsessed with the choreo for EXO's Overdose, yes, even with that blurry-ass video, and it didn't hurt that the song was also hella catchy. But one of the things I learned from Martina was about the various human rights abuses going on in the industry. After a point, I started feeling guilty for consuming content that might have harmed people during its creation. So in 2015, I forced myself to ignore and forget my love for K-pop, and this continued for 6 years. During this 6 years, I began to explore my love for languages and linguistics. Again and again I came across Korean and kept thinking that it was a cool language for many reasons, that Hangul was the cleverest alphabet I'd ever seen, and that the words sounded beautiful. I watch a lot of Korean ASMR artists. In 2020, thanks to the quarantine where I lived, I finally achieved my lifelong dream of becoming officially bilingual. One of the paid employees at a place where I had volunteered was also into language, and we would talk about it a little bit. I asked her what was her target language, and she said Korean, and I was like, OMG, I love Korean. And she was like, what about K-pop? And I was like, IDK, teach me Sunbae. Again, I'm paraphrasing. By this time, around 2021, I had pretty much forgotten everything about K-pop, but I wanted to connect with my new friends, so I reached back into the cavernous hollows of my brain and remembered Overdose by EXO. And she was like, oh, you're EXO-L. Let's listen to EXO in the car. And in the car I was like, if I'm EXO-L, I guess I should get me one of them biases. And even though I didn't know the members or what they looked like or their names or personalities or anything, there was a voice that stood out to me that day. And it turns out this was the voice of Baekhyun. So that's how he became my first, and for a long time only, bias. And it was seeming to me, correctly or not, that changes had occurred in the industry during those intervening years, and that now it was at least somewhat more humane. So I did a deep dive on EXO and sort of intentionally fell in love with them and their songs, most of which are now permanently etched on my psyche in a way I can't fully explain. And my love for Baekhyun grew as well. Y'all, it is really fun to have celebrity crushes. Please try it if you are romantic or allo at all. Anyway, 2022 was a very unfortunate year for me, and I started getting more into K-pop as a coping mechanism, and y'all, it really helped. I expanded my knowledge across a number of groups, which I know is very few compared to some stans, but to me it felt like a big accomplishment. And when I actually rediscovered but didn't realize, 2PM, I was like, oh no. I'm in so much trouble. I fell for them hard and fast, but I was wondering if I needed to be faithful to EXO as my fave BG. It was like this, I love EXO because I chose to love EXO. I love 2PM because they are 2PM. Ultimately, in the grand scheme, it doesn't make much of a difference which idols you stan, so basically you should just find whoever appeals to you personally. And yeah, 2PM appeals to me personally, very much. I cannot stress this enough. I remember breaking the news to my friend that I had been cleanly and efficiently wrecked. I said I haven't even listened to their music yet, I'm just going on vibes alone. I just like them. She looked at me and said they're crackheads. I looked at her and said I'm here for it. Okay, that time was actually verbatim. So after that little exchange, she showed me the MV for Ad Toy. And when it finished, I was just kind of gently weeping. She said, are you okay? I said, but I'm an EXO stan, I'm an EXO stan. She said, don't worry about it, silly, you can be both. So now 2PM is my old group, Baekhyun is my old bias, I still love EXO as well as a bunch of other groups, and that's pretty much how we got to the present. And I make videos about 2PM to share my love with fans and potential fans. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Oh wait, I said that thing about rediscovering. Yeah, I guess I had randomly watched Dream High in 2012 or 13 and really liked it, but once I started standing 2PM it took me a minute to figure out where I had seen them before. Okay, love you, bye 3.